Then we really wanted to emphasize the major connections with the rail line, connections to St. Bernard and Northside on Spring Grove, as well as the close proximity to I-75. We felt that all those transit connections would help to bring a good amount of people into the area. And then the land use, like we said, is first floor retail, commercial. Second and third floors would be office, and then this area would be the residential units.
So when we were talking about creating a green industrial park in this area here, we realized that to a certain extent we need an anchoring institution to both give identity to the area and give it a sense of community and cohesiveness, because at present it's a bunch of businesses operating independently of each other. In order for this to really function as a green industrial park, to stimulate the synergies that might happen there, it needs a face. So the project I was proposing was an industrial business incubator on one of the sites in the neighborhood, which is this large storage facility that's already there. So this would be an adaptive reuse project. And the way that this would work, you can see in the concept diagram, is that this building, since it sticks out of everything, becomes the face for the entire area, as well as serving an incubator function which will help young green industries to come into the area, get started up safely, and then benefit the area, the industrial district, by their business. And so from an urban design standpoint, the way that this works is the incubator becomes sort of the frontal center for this entire belt here of industry, which is in here on the framework plan. And then the streets are reoriented. These are actually existing streets that are extended all the way through to the Mill Creek. And then the streetscaping is redone to make it more of to emphasize the runoff mitigation strategies that we've been talking about, using curbless paving, filling in sort of non-spaces with constructed wetlands, and then advocating use of vegetative roofs wherever possible. And the hope is that this would serve the function of giving the entire industrial community something to circulate around. It doubles in function as not only an incubator but a shipping distribution center, so that young businesses can bring in their products, consolidate shipments, and then ship them out. So programmatically and formally, it's designed to act as the center of the industrial community, so that this Winton Place area can have some identity.
So apart from all the industrial development, there is the neighborhood business district. Because there's such a barrier between the residential area and the industrial district, the neighborhood business district is focused on primarily serving the residents of Spring Grove Village. So some goals of revitalizing the neighborhood business district is to resist competing uses with the new commercial development. Small-scale development is a main goal. There's no thoroughfares through the area, so you want to focus on uses that will just serve the community. And then another goal is to create a community center. That's what the idea of this is right here. So the design for this community center, it could serve as a farmer's market. The plan is to widen the street, have one-way streets going on either side, and no parking on the street. So it's very pedestrian-oriented. The design, it looks just like a green median, but the design is supposed to model as something after Pyatt Park. So heavy landscaping so that the people in the square don't feel danger from the cars passing through. Another goal is to focus on the opposing street grids of the neighborhood. This diagram right here demonstrates how the street grids don't line up. So the community square is right in the middle, and that widening the street makes it more visible for the buildings in that area. And then reconfiguring this block of Mitchell and Edgewood. There was a building oriented in this direction, so adding another building going this way, and then there's parking behind it and additional parking here. Current businesses in the neighborhood business district is the Harmony Lodge here. This is the community development office. There's a church here, and there is a barber shop here, and then the rest is mostly vacant. The yellow buildings show that there's single-family houses around it, but mainly focusing on this square here as a focus of the neighborhood business district, and then businesses around that.
Can you talk a little bit about the things on the right side of your board?
Sure. I can talk about it. I mean, these are mainly outlining these interventions that the most of us are talking about here with the 4 major interventions that we're putting in. You can see the location within the framework. Down here we have the regional relationships that we started to look at. You can see where Winton Place is within greater Cincinnati. And we're just trying to get at where it would be within a light rail system. This is kind of the industrial network within Cincinnati. It's placed within there. This diagram shows the relative lack of business districts in this entire area, whereas they mostly hug along the I-71 corridor. So that's kind of our rationale for trying to create a little bit more development along I-75. And finally, just the general location along rail and highway lines. You can also see a panorama of the site just to give you an idea of the aesthetics that we're looking at as far as industrial buildings and power lines. And these are some of our runoff management strategies. This is a impervious surfaces and CSO map, so that you can sort of just see the intensity of rainwater problems that kind of exist right along the Mill Creek here, and that's why we're trying to create these strategies to sort of mitigate that. You can also see some of the existing conditions along here. I sort of like this picture because it gives you an idea of what the TOD area looks like originally, with just parking lots and very large buildings. So,
and some precedents you have there.
Yes, we also.
Yeah, these 2 precedents are for the incubator. This is the Santa Fe area incubator, which is a pretty successful one. It's a good example of what an incubator offers to businesses that would be coming into this area, which is a professional space where they can have all their office services concentrated. They don't have to pay for that space. And then sort of a related precedent within Cincinnati is Longworth Hall, which is a very similar building to the one I would be working with, and shows some of the programmatic characteristics that could happen at the new industrial incubator.
And this precedent here is Mockingbird Station in Dallas, Texas, part of the DART light rail system. And I chose it as a precedent just because it's a very similar site condition where you have an interstate highway running perpendicular and a rail line kind of cutting it. And you just see kind of the intense urbanization going on there with structured parking and kind of more high-rise buildings that we're trying to translate to our site if we can. It's a very similar situation, really. Oh, and this diagram here was actually kind of, we took this from a book, but it was a really good starting point for our ideas of what to do down here. It's best site design practices, showing how the typical grocery store strip can be adapted to be more site conducive to better site design. So I thought that was kind of a springboard for some of our strategies here.
Very nice presentation. Very nice
Yes,
presentation.
yes, nice